What is going on, GBA fans? My name is Burke, and today we bring you the conference finals, the first conference finals for the GBA Season 7. I am not alone. I am joined by The Confusion.
What is going on, guys? I am The Confusion, and yes, we are going to give you guys our live analysis. Me and Burke, or Burke and I, or whatever English is, we're going to give you guys our live analysis of this game. We have watched both the team builders, but we have not watched the battle. So, although this is going to be going up on Thursday, and the second semifinals battle will be up on Friday, so you guys have probably seen this battle, but we have not. So we will be watching this for the first time, and giving you guys our live analysis of these two semifinal matches.
Yeah, the reason we're doing this is instead of doing a weekly recap, in which case it would be like 10 minutes long, and you would talk about two matches, we decided to bring both matches. It'll be about the same length as a normal weekly recap, so we're doing this. So anyway, getting into the match.
Yeah, we have some pretty interesting things, because obviously Gio and MV have played before, and MV played really well, you know, against him. He had the Magna Zone, and this time we actually don't see that Magna Zone, so it's going to be interesting how he's going to mess around with mons like Rhyperior and Conkeldurr, which do have pretty much perfect coverage. Rhyperior with its coverage has amazing coverage. The Thunder Punch, the Ice Punch, and the Earthquake pretty much hit everything for super effective damage, barring the Cresselia, and the Conkeldurr can do a similar job. So I'm interested to see how MV is going to work his way around that, probably relying heavily on that Cresselia.
Yeah, and you look at both teams, it just kind of seems like it's going to be whoever can set up first, I feel like. And I said this when I was doing the pick 'em crew. I feel like whoever can set up first successfully is just going to be able to win. So it could be, you know, you look at MV's team and Gio might see like a Dual Dance Landorus, or, you know, the obvious Dragon Dance Dragonite, and on Gio's team you obviously have Salamence, which can put in a ton of work. But Envy is definitely going to have to watch out before setting up too soon, because Ditto is the omnipresent threat. You know, it can copy any of the stat changes, and then he can counter sweep. So overall I kind of like Gio's matchup. I liked it on paper, I like it going into the battle, but they're both very good players, and it's anyone's game really.
Yeah, so obviously we have, like you said, the Scarf Ditto, which is going to be very scary for MV to deal with. He has a lot of threats to work up against. The Bronzong, obviously, very hard to beat, especially with mons like the Virizion and the Lando, who are going to have trouble with it. Also, the Dragonite. So I'm interested to see how he plays around Gio's team. I would say that in terms of matchup, it does look like Gio has the upper hand. He does have that Scarf Mence, which could put in a lot of work. We actually don't see a Dragon Resist barring the Empoleon, and Empoleon doesn't have the best physical defense, so I'm interested to see how he's going to play around that as well. But we're going to jump into the match.
So we see him lead off with the Landorus against the Bronzong. Now this is a very standard lead. It looks like both are just going to be able to get at the rocks.
Yeah, Bronzong does have that HP Ice, so I'm interested to see if he's going to go for that right now. He does go for the knockoff, and we do see that HP Ice. So that HP Ice is a 2 KO, and the knockoff obviously is not. The Landorus is Scarfed, so he's going to have to pull back there.
And we see the incoming Alolan Muck as the rocks are set up. So, you know, Bronzong able to do what I think it needed to do. Weaken the Landorus, kind of weaken the Muck and set up rocks. So that's pretty good for Gio.
And he catches him on the pursuit. Really interesting. That Bronzong does not go. It's going to have to go down to that pursuit. A really good play by MV, but now we have Rhyperior in, and that thing is going to be a threat. I think he's forced into that Cresselia. We'll see.
Yeah, Cresselia is really his only good switch in, because it is a Scarf Landorus and not more of a defensive set. It's not a great switch in. Gio does predict that kind of with the Ice Punch, but, you know, Cresselia comes in.
Megahorn, that's great prep. The Megahorn, knowing that Cresselia is the only answer to Rhyperior, Megahorn does knock out that Cresselia, and now we're gonna have a lot of problem with Conkeldurr and Rhyperior for MV. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, this opens up a big door for Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is just a giant threat.
And he's gonna go into the top of Fini against the Empoleon. Empoleon can defog and set up rocks, so we'll see how that works out. So yeah, I think MV's gonna go to get rid of the rocks, because that Dragonite needs to keep its multi-scale.
Yeah, and if Envy's able to get up the rocks now, that is definitely going to hamper Salamence somewhat.
So Gio definitely has the upper hand this game. Getting rid of Cresselia very early on. Knocks off that Tapu Fini, gets rid of the leftovers. Not a huge deal. I think Envy is just sacking off his Landorus at this point.
Yeah, but the Landorus goes down. That means a Scarf Moxie Immense doesn't have to worry about Intimidate anymore. Exactly. So that can definitely help.
We still have the Empoleon there, so it's going to give it... It can't click Outrage yet, but very soon it will be able to. This is, I believe, a special Virizion, so we'll see if it sets up a Calm Mind here. It's just going to go for the Giga Drain. Alright.
Yeah, Geo sacks off the Rhyperior. Yeah, good play. It doesn't really outspeed much, aside from the Mach, and it wasn't really able to get off any hits at that point. But now we got the Conkeldurr in, and Conkeldurr... Basically, Envy has to find a switch in, which he doesn't have anymore because Cresselia is gone.
And once that thing gets the Flame Orb off, I mean, that Ayapapa Berry is not going to take him anywhere. The Drain Punch is going to do much more damage now. And,
yeah, and it doesn't matter about the knockoff either.
Right, exactly. Now it's immune to the knockoff. Poison Jab can't get poisoned, so really Geo on the upper hand. In my opinion, I think he's gonna do well. That Muck lives on 1. Not a big deal because of Drain Punch, but yeah.
And then combination Mach Punch, so it can't get off any more damage on the Conkeldurr.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's 3 down already for Envy.
And Geo still has the Ditto around, so Dragonite comes in, but if it starts setting up, Ditto is still around. And the Mach Punch is good to break the multi-scale in case it starts setting up Dragon Dances.
Wow, he does not go for the Z Fly. He actually keeps that in the back. But I think it's obvious he has the Z move and he's just not going for it. I don't think he would bring Fly without the Z move. So I think Geo's gonna see that and be like, he has to have the the Z Fly. But now that multi-scale is gone, Geo's gonna have a much easier time breaking through that. Salamence can now Oko with Outrage before it couldn't. So
yeah, I'm kind of interested to see why he didn't switch into Salamence at that point. He could take the Fly and then maybe pressure a little bit more, but
I think he was
guess he wants to preserve it.
I think he was worried about going into the... if he went into the Empoleon on the Outrage, it could revenge him with Ice Beam, because I don't think Outrage true hit KO'd the Empoleon, so I think he didn't want to risk that.
No, not at that point.
No?
Not at that point. It wouldn't have 2-code at that point.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So he would have risked getting killed by the Ice Beam, and if he predicted it went for the Earthquake, but Envy stayed on with Dragonite, obviously Earthquake wouldn't have touched the Dragonite, and Dragonite can get a free Dragon Dance up. So that actually is going to be the end of Empoleon, and at this point, I think Scarfed Outrage is going to clean up.
Yeah, it's very possible. I don't know if Virizion will be able to take one, but he goes directly into Mence.
Does not go for the HP Ice.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain. I think Virizion at this point can take one and then go for Hidden Power Ice. As it does take one Outrage.
Wow.
And unfortunately, that is the end of Salamence. So, he has to go into Ditto, and he has to lock himself into a possible Scarf HP Ice.
I think he scarves himself into HP Ice and wins, in my opinion. Or he can switch back out into the Tapu Fini and then come back in as a fully multi-scale Dragonite and just click whatever move he has. We'll see what he chooses to do.
But the HP Ice does not do enough, and...
oh, wow.
The Supersonic Skydrake is definitely going to kill, and that looks like to be the game because I don't think Tapu Fini outspeeds. It's a little bit too low to take any hits, so I think Fly will actually be able to take out the Tapu Fini.
Even Thunder Punch, I feel. I think he has Thunder Punch. I think that's gonna... wow, Envy brought it back. That's crazy.
That was a very, very close match. So congratulations to Envy on winning the conference finals. He is going to be playing in the finals against... well, don't want to spoil that. But it was a fantastic game. Both played very well. Both planned very well. Dragonite proving why it is just a huge threat in League format. And I think Geo played very well. I think it came down to 50-50s towards the end. Does he stay in with Ditto? Does he switch out? The Virizion might be able to kill with the HP Ice. I think it was a really good plan on bringing Hidden Power Ice with the Ditto. Making sure that it did have that in case he switched in Anymon with Hidden Power. So, I don't know. What else do you think?
I mean, yeah, like you said, I think MV played really well with keeping the fly intact, the Z fly intact, because if he didn't, clicking fly would have allowed him to just switch into the Moana, switch into the Tapu Fini, sack that thing off, and bring in the Ditto again. In my opinion, if Gio did do that, I think that was his misplay. If he did switch out into the Tapu Fini, just sack that thing off to the Z-Fly, come back in as a multi-scale Dragonite, and just spam Thunder Punch, he actually would have won that battle in that case, you know, assuming there was no paralysis hack. So I think he had a better chance in doing that. If he calced it and saw that the Virizion HP Ice would have done more, and apparently this Dragonite had much more bulk investment, then fine, I can understand it. So, I mean, I think Gio still brought great prep. The Mega Horn on the Rhyperior to get rid of the Cresselia, knowing that was MV's only switch into Rhyperior, that was really, really smart. The way he played around the Mach Punch on the Conkeldurr, that was really smart. But in general, MV did play that game really well and just overtook Gio. But in general, yeah, like you said, MV is going to be in our finals the first time. So that's going to be really exciting, and Gio still put up an amazing fight, not doing too well in the beginning of the season, but really pulling it up and, you know, making a really good fight, bringing it down to a 1-0 in the semifinals. So that is going to be great.
Yep. So I hope you all enjoyed the first of the conference finals. We'll be having the next one tomorrow, which will be George versus Mono. Until then, my name is Burke.
And I am the Confusion.
We will see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, guys.